My girl. As you continue to build your relationship with God by, going to church, going to Bible studies, getting into the Word, spending time with other Christians, you'll often hear someone say, God opened up a door for me, or God closed a door for me. And if you haven't spent a lot of time, or depending on where you're at in your relationship, you might wonder, is that even scriptural? And there's a lot of places in the Bible where even the people in the Bible, when they're sharing their stories to other people, would say, God opened up this door so that we could go here, or God closed the door so that we couldn't go there. In Revelations 3, verse 7, it says here, to the angel of the church in Philadelphia, write, these are the words of him who is holy and true, who holds the key of David. Pay attention right here, because it's at the end of this verse we're talking about. What he opens, no one can shut. What he shuts, no one can open. So we're talking about God here. God will open up doors that no one can shut. God will also close doors that no one can open. And as you're going through and begin to grow and understand, you see, God wants us to be able to enjoy the abundant life. God wants us to prosper. Yet, why is it so many people are having a hard time living paycheck to paycheck? Well, in reality, there are several reasons. One could be because of their own poor choices. Two could be that, God has opened up doors for them and they simply chose not to walk through that door. Or maybe God has closed the door, but they keep trying to go that direction. In other words, they're going on the wrong path, and God knows their heart, so God's trying to protect them, and God closes the door, but they refuse to see that that door is closed, and they keep going that way. Well, if it weren't for a door that God opened up for me, I couldn't enjoy this beautiful country in Costa Rica. Many years ago, I had preached a sermon called Created for Success. And the whole sermon and the gist of it was that God has created you and I to succeed in life. And I share many scriptures that confirm that. Well, it was a really great sermon, but I heard God say, Alan, I want you to write a book on that. And I got excited because, man, I can write a book, okay? And then God said, and then put it online. I'm like, dude, you know what you're talking about? I barely do email. And God said, put it online. Well, I had a choice there. That was an open door for me. I could have simply walked through that door, began doing that research, or I could have said, I don't have the talents, I don't have the skills, I don't have the abilities, and I could not walk through that door. Or I could let other things distract me, like work. Okay, well, I just don't have time because I'm working a full-time job, I'm preaching, I'm going all over the place. I don't have time to research. I'd much rather spend time, relaxing and watching a football game or doing my favorite hobby. But I could be obedient, or I could have the courage to walk through that open door, and when I come home after work and tired, decide to do the research. How can I put this book online? And that takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of discipline. Well, I chose to be disciplined in doing that. And so as I began research and began learning, writing the book was easy. That was just spending time with God, but God wanted me to put the book online. Now, in my own thinking, I'm thinking, wow, maybe I'm going to be rich and I'm going to sell 1 million copies of this book, and that would be great because I'd have finances to do whatever God wanted me to do. And, we kind of often do that. God shows us something and we began thinking our way, when many times God is doing something completely different. And that's what he did in my case. But before I go there, I kind of want to share with you that oftentimes God will open a door, and your passion, your hobby can oftentimes keep you from walking through that door. For example, I talked to a guy yesterday. I'm here in Costa Rica, and he loved to surf. And he said, years ago, that's all I wanted to do. And I had opportunities to work. People would contact me, and I'm like, dude, I'm going surfing in the morning. I'm going surfing in the evening. Yet that was when a door had opened for him to do work. Well, because he only wanted to serve her, that's what was priority in his life, that led him to being broke. Because his number one priority was surfing when God was opening up a door so that he could actually go and do something, make some money, prosper. So the question we got to ask ourselves is, hey, is that surfboard helping you to make any money? Because if that surfboard's not helping you to make money, well, you know what? That ocean's always going to be there. Maybe you need to take that surfboard and put it to the side and then walk through the door that God has opened for you to make money, okay? And after you've made some money, well, guess what? Things are getting better for you. You can go surf on your free time. But don't confuse your free time because you're thinking, well, you know what? God's opened up a door for me to go work at 6 o'clock in the morning, but at 6 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock, I want to go surfing. So we've got to choose which one is it that we want to do. So there's lots of reasons why we choose not to go through that open door. Now, the Bible makes it clear. Right here it says, what he opens, no one can shut. What he shuts, no one can open. But we don't have to walk through that door. And we can continue to bang on a closed door trying to open something God has shut. So it's clear that we need to look at priorities. Now, I know another guy who loves to surf. However, he turned his passion into making money. And so when the opportunity came, you know, he went to work. And he now has this great surfing business, okay? So he didn't allow his surfing to stop him, but when opportunities came, well, guess what? Now he's not surfing, he's taking other people to surf. So you have to ask yourself, okay, is your passion to surf? Is your passion to play football? Is your passion to play baseball? Hey, those are all great, but is it making you money now? Because you see, you got to eat now. You can surf later. You can play ball later. Now, no one's saying if you got a dream to play music or you got a dream to be an NFL star, well, no one's saying give up on it, but you may need to go to work. You can't practice all the time. You've got to work so that you can fund the dream that you have. But make sure this is a dream that comes from God and make sure that that's the direction that God is leading you. Because oftentimes God will give you talents and abilities, or maybe you're doing something and it's only for a season, okay? And that season may end and it's time for you to do something else, okay? So let's go back to the open door God gave for me. Here I am thinking that I'm going to sell lots and lots of books. And in reality, I began learning and I began researching. And I learned a lot of stuff about being online. And I learned how to publish that book. And look, today, that book is still on Amazon. You could go to Amazon and type in, created for success, Bert Richard, and then you can find that book. I've only sold a handful of them, but what did I really learn from being obedient to God? From being obedient and Him saying, write the book and put it online. I took the challenge. I walked through the door. It took me several years. What I did learn is it gave me the skill set I needed to learn how to work online. I learned how to be an online entrepreneur, and had I not learned that, well then when God opened up a door for me to go to Costa Rica, I would have never been able to go because I would have been disobedient had I not walked through the door, write the book, and put it online. You see, I learned a skill set that would allow me to travel all over the world so long as I had internet so that I continue to run my internet business. When God opens a door, don't take it lightly because we don't know what that open door is going to lead us to. We don't know when God closes the door what it's going to protect us from. Get into the Word and ask God, God, lead me, guide me. If you're asking God to lead you, guide you, direct you, then He will open doors and He will close doors. But the important thing is that when He opens the door, ask God to give you the courage and the strength to walk through that door. Because sometimes, just like for me, it can seem overwhelming. I don't know how, but everybody can learn how. It's a matter of whether you discipline yourself to do that, because you may need to stop that surfing for a time. You might need to stop playing ball for a time. You might need to stop watching football games for a time. And in that season, focus on walking through the door that God has opened for you. I pray and believe that God's going to give you the courage to walk through the doors that He's opened for you. And I pray that He will give you discernment to realize when He's closed a door so that you don't waste time banging on a door that He's closed.